Bonjour and welcome, all you comic book geeks, all you comic book readers, and all you comic book collectors. Hello to my sexy subscribers. You know I love you the most. Thank you so much for that. And thank you if you are commenting now and getting into it. I really, really enjoy it. As well as getting into the comic book community over on Threads. There's hashtag comic threads. I think you've got to do a great community over there that I really do enjoy. There's no haters there. We all have our whinges, don't we? We all have our whinges, whether it's an overpriced comic or a misuse of a character, but there's no haters. We all love this hobby, best hobby in the world. And what I've got for you, as usual, is my top 10 of the week, 5 of which I'm going to do a deep dive on after the scroll, and 5 of which is just honourable mentions. That, so 10 comics here to have a little take a chance on, if you believe what I'm saying, which I hope you do by now, or you've got the measure of what I like and don't like, and you can judge what you will and won't, maybe, because sometimes it works in reverse, doesn't it? Anyway, I digress. If there's going to be any spoilers, they're mostly going to be contained after the scroll, when I do the deep dive on the top 5. So if you haven't picked your pull list, as you Americans call it, I used to call it, when I had the shops, I used to call it a standing order of comic books. But it's a pull list now, isn't it? And over on Threads, it's the pull list. It's New Comic Book Day. It's hashtag NCBD. Love it. Love it. Let's get on with it. So without further ado. So first up is something I've mentioned before, Zorro, Man of the Dead. Because it's the last issue, and yes, it is Sean Murphy. I mean, look at that cover with the skeleton mariachi band. And anyway, we're going to do that in the deep dive, so I won't go on too much about it here. The final issue, tiny little 4-issue mini, I think that's been a little passion project of Sean Murphy's. I'd love to know whether or not I'm right, because he just seems to love the imagery of it, the iconography of it. If you ask me, Nick Klein back on the Hulk, guys. Oh yes, we're going to have a little look in the deep dive about how that is some of the best Hulk transformations you have seen in comic book form, in my opinion. I just think he nails it, Nick Klein, with his artwork on that. Philip Kennedy Johnson's horror-based storyline as well. And we are in with the Strange Academy, which is another series I really love. I love the horror Marvel. I love the magic, Doctor Strange and all that stuff. So it's obviously nailing it for me. But not Book of the Week, so what could that possibly be? It's not this, but nevertheless, this was a good old romp. What do you expect from Garth Ennis and Jason Burrows? Get Fury. Nick Fury and the Punisher in Vietnam. Enough said. And the same with this one. And this is what I mean. This week, Marvel have nailed it. I know I've had my gripes with Marvel. They've nailed it. They own it this week. But then again, there isn't a lot of DC about. I mean, I've got no DC in my top 10. And that's not because I'm down on DC. You know I'm not. But anyway, this is another one that just does exactly what it says on the tin. And Adam, I always call him Adam Kubert. Well, I don't know why I always call him Andy Kubert. Adam Kubert on the artwork, and Joe Kelly bringing back that old Deadpool. This will be all right for a mini-series. I can take Deadpool in very, very, very short doses. And if Wolverine weren't in this, I wouldn't have bought it. So, but it's a great read. It is good. But my book of the week is this. Now, I know there are a lot of people that roll their eyes with multi-series crossovers, and I'm one of them. This has got off to a brilliant start. Pepe Larraz artwork on it. Jed McKay. He's done a stand-up job, and that is my book of the week. I think even if you only get the 6-issue mini of that, you will enjoy it. That's my recommendation. You haven't got to buy everything else, because there is already one tie-in this week, which was Moon Knight. And although it's not in my top 10, it was a decent enough. I'm really am a little bit like that with it. But nevertheless ties in. But you didn't have to get that. You didn't have to get that to follow this storyline at all. So, which is good news. It's good news for your pocket and for your brain with multi-series crossovers, you know. I think people are getting a bit jaded now with them. Marvel, actually, a public announcement to Marvel and DC. Stop it. Just stop it. Give us a year off and get on with the series. Stop it. Give the marketing department a year off, because it can only come from the marketing department to say, oh, the sales of something or another go up 5% when we do a crossover. Yeah, but what you're doing is you are kind of boring everyone. Anyway, Conan again, Jim Zub and De La Torre on the artwork. Oh, just amazing old school throwback for fantasy. You know, the granddad, as I commented on threads today, the granddaddy of fantasy, Conan. Kaya, this is a modern fantasy book, and I can't recommend it enough, and you know that. If you follow my channel, you know I can't recommend this book enough. It just never lets me down, and always, the only time it lets me down is when he takes a break, Wes Craig, and what he does, he takes a month or two off to, like, in between kind of storyline, but because he needs that time to take a breath and have a break and come back. I don't mind that. Just let me know. I'm on board next time. Love it. Love it. Can't recommend it enough. I tried this one. I'm not a fan of the cartoon or anything other than, well, no, I'm just not a fan of Space Ghost. But do you know what? This was a really decent. I mean, David Pepose, I only know his name from the latest Punisher, which really should have put me off buying it, because I absolutely didn't like that at all. But that wasn't Pepose's fault. It was the fact, I mean, he's been given, unless it was his idea to change the Punisher into, yeah, no, give me Garth Ennis's Punisher in Vietnam any old day, but I'm showing my age now, aren't I? And where Fury leans really heavily into films like Apocalypse Now and those old Vietnam films, Platoon and stuff like that, this book, oh my goodness, what a delight. If you love your westerns, if you love your Clint Eastwood, your the earlier stuff, the spaghetti western stuff, maybe not so much the end of the line, your traditional, right in the thick of it, in the middle of it, not the end of days, just proper westerns, then get that. And I do love this cover, and it wasn't until afterwards that I noticed that as well. But what a great, uses all of the classic tropes of the Western movie and the Western storyline and of the Western mythos in that. Really, really enjoyed it. And I didn't know if Rizzo's artwork was going to work, but it does. It does. I think his artwork will work with anything. He's a great artist. And now I've got a weird one for you guys, because it was a little bit of a quiet week. I'm going to shoehorn this one in, because it's a trade paperback. I don't know where it come from. I just like, and it is Moonray, right? A sci-fi, a kind of weird, and what it reminded me of when I saw it in previews, and the reason I ordered it is because it reminded me of Mobius, and I know I'm going to get his name wrong, Jodorowsky, who wrote Incal and Mobius way back when, and it was that weird and wonderful Fifth Element style sci-fi with quirky characters and weird situations and bizarre aliens. If you like any of that, you could do a lot. And don't get me wrong, I have only read the first issue / chapter of this, but it has not disappointed me at all. And it was the art that drew me in, the art and the idea of it. However they, in a post-human world, the man of Minium is born. Yeah. So I think I was in a slain goddess, nameless warriors, Unrecognisable landscapes, yeah. I can tell. I can see why I ordered that now. But anyway, that's my top 10, guys. So run out and buy them if you haven't. If you want further proof that any of my top 5 are the ones that you should be going for, then please join me after the scroll for the deep dive on my top 5, and then you know what's coming, my little bit of fun with the cover of the week, imagining that if we only had enough pocket money for one comic, and we was at the spinner or the shelf in the drugstore, the newsagents. Oh, what's it going to be? What's the one that's like that sucks us in like a tractor beam? Anyway, join me after the scroll for more comic goodness. To one of his favourite characters. This is what I think anyway. And what a beautiful cover. It's obviously the Day of the Dead, the Hispanic Spanish. I don't know what you would, what the origins of it are, but I can just see how much Sean Murphy is enjoying himself with the imagery of all of this Spanish, this early American, Mexican, Spanish-y stuff. Beautiful cover. Not exactly action-packed, but beautiful cover. Only issue 4, and this has been a great... I got plot holes as well before this, so massive for obviously letting Sean Murphy really have a go. Simon Goff on the colouring as well. This has been great. At the heart of it is a guy who really does believe he's Zorro. But there is a heart to it, as in his sister, his long sister who's taken the wrong path in life. These are all the gangsters. She really goes through it, this issue, and how at the end, it all kind of comes together. But what I do like is Bandido, this little fox, little fox character, who really comes to the fore. Look at this, who basically does all the rescuing. And I did warn you that it was all spoilery. But Zorro and Bandido, I've got to say, he's giving up now. Look, he's giving up. No more. No, Zorro wouldn't have lost. He feels like he's lost it and let everyone down. But Bandido, look, has got the note. Has got the note from Zorro's sister, this character here, and whose name it was Rosa. That's it, Rosa. Blimey, after 4 issues, you think I'd remember? Anyway, this is a character from Rosa and her brother, aka Zorro's past, and it all, it just all comes to a very, very nice conclusion in this issue. Just a really light read, but original enough. But Sean Murphy has really brought a kind of fresh, modern air. He's kind of brought Zorro into the 21st century that I've really, really enjoyed. Even the lettering and stuff here, with all the machine guns and, because of the cartel and all the rest of it. But here we go with what I think Sean Gordon Murphy has really enjoyed doing. Well, I think he's enjoyed doing the whole lot. But even Zorro's been painted up with, La Muerta, whatever it's, blah, blah, whatever it's called. And there's nothing the man can't draw. Look how clean and clear his artwork is. Look, in all of these little panels, look, another artist might have made that a bit of a splash, but no, he's just gone, look, car, running, stab, running, jumping, landing. Nice. Love it. Absolutely love it. When I bang on, by the way, guys, about sequential artwork, sequential storytelling, that is exactly what I mean. You didn't need to see Wud, Stab, or Huff and Wud, or Vroom. Look, that is just a page of, I know what's going on. That's going down there at some point. Oh yeah, here it goes, and it's landed, and they're still running, and now they've got caught up, and then it works. And I'll leave it. I won't spoil it, because if you are going to buy the trade paperback of this, which I thoroughly recommend, only 4 issues. It'll be a tiny, tiny little, and I think they did say it's going to be collected. Yeah, trade paperback July, guys, on that one. So get it if you haven't been collecting it in the floppies. And look at this. My boy Nick Klein. He can draw the Hulk, but in a different way, in a totally, thoroughly modern way that I am enjoying. I'm so glad to see him back. I mean, I did come to know and love the other guy's artwork, but they're in the Strange Academy, so we're still in New Orleans. Like, this is the aftermath of the previous storyline, and I'm a big fan of the Strange Academy. Here's Don Mamu's kid, and other characters. But this is and Nick Klein again, he can just deliver. He just draw, and I thought no one else apart from Humberto Ramos would give me enough fun with these characters, but no, Nick Klein's done it. Nick Klein's done it for me. Love the way the lettering is done here. I'm assuming Nick Klein is doing this lettering, these sound effects within the artwork. If he isn't, then fair play to Corey Petit, who's doing, because if not, and then obviously they've got a gatecrasher at the Strange Academy, and the 3 of them try. Is that who I think it is? Nice, just no love whoosh. He's trying to look, stupid kid. This was delightful. This is just good comics. This is good storytelling. It's good artworks. Good artwork, intriguing storyline, great characters. Here's Dr. Voodoo, and look at what he does. A soul is a simple thing for me to command, but then he realises that but there are 2 of you in there, or perhaps more than 2. Just that little bit of intrigue. And the artwork spread across 2 pages nicely, overlapping. And that isn't the best of it. The best of it, I will fast forward to, because I don't really want to give too much away of the story. Just buy it. Is the transformation. It's the Hulk. No, actually, it wasn't there. Sorry, guys. I've really fast forwarded ahead there. Did I flick a page? This is all going to be lost in the edit. No, it is this page. Look, this is the Hulk going down from the Hulk to Banner. And then look, thump. Sorry, guys. I've really kind of flipped over there, getting too excited with myself. But what Nick Klein has done in all of these issues, in the issues that he's done the artwork for, is giving us a really horrific version of how Banner goes to the Hulk and vice versa, which I've really been enjoying. But guys, without a doubt, this storyline is off the scale. And the way that Hulk is in this, look, and they are obviously really in the horror vein now. They're really going, here's Dr. Voodoo, who thinks oh no, this is not possible. What he thinks he's done is suppress the Hulk, but he's got, look, thwap. He's just taken his wand away from him. And yeah, did I? Oh, it's great stuff. And here's Banner. And I won't show you the last page, because if you haven't got this and you're going to get the trades, then go and do it. And if you're waiting for issue 12, I won't spoil the end. But yeah, glad Nick Klein's back, delivering what he does best. And if you like your war movies, if you like your Apocalypse Now, if you like your Garth Ennis, if you like films like Platoon and Hamburger Hill, if you like Frank Castle and Nick Fury, then there's not a lot I can say about this, apart from one really, really glaring glaringly obvious mistake, which is these two MPs come up to Captain Castle, Captain, hence Captain, yeah, and they're saying that, oh, you know, we've got to, because of rabies, we've got to get rid of dogs and that, and this is obviously one of his soldiers under Frank Castle's command. But they go blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah, and then a soldier turns up and says, Captain Castle. And he goes, 1 minute. And it's like a realisation that, oh, he's a captain. But they called him a captain at the beginning. I found that quite jarring. And for Garth Ennis, I found it quite unusual. But other than that, this is everything you expect on the tin. Except all these adverts. Which is, Fury is in trouble with a couple of his colleagues, and Castle is tasked with going to get him. Well, actually, not going to get him, to go and assassinate him, which is where the Apocalypse Now reference comes from. And like the two CIA guys, you know, which was, I think in the film it was Harrison Ford and the other actor, you know, with the fan on the ceiling. The artwork, I mean, I've never been a big fan of Jason Burrows. I think he's a bit too basic. But I think it will suit this. It wasn't very evocative in The Office, but he's nailing it. That was, you know, panels like this are great. So, yeah, it's giving you, that reminded me of Steve Dillon. I don't know if, you know, R.I.P., who done a lot of work with Garth Ennis back in the day. But nevertheless, this was a stonking good, a nice, easy read that delivers. We want Fury and we want the Punisher. And Garth Ennis just delivers it. He just goes, right, here you go. That's it. So, yeah. Well, I like the bullet holes in the, whoever designed the, what's it, didn't have to do that. That's proper old school. And talking of old school, look at this old school team up. Here we go. Joe Kelly, who's written Deadpool from year dot, I think. I've never really been the biggest fan of Deadpool, and I'm not going to turn the comic up. Well, I suppose I should, really, shouldn't I? I don't know how to kind of get that in the middle for you guys, so I do apologise, but this is a bit annoying, to be fair. But Adam Kubert's artwork, I don't know why the opening I don't know why this demanded it to be that way, which is, I thought that was a bit stupid. But anyway, here we go. World War III, or WW, or whatever they're going to call it. Oh look, they're doing more X-Men. Wrong way around. It's Adam Kubert's artwork all day long. Look at this stuff again. Visual, sequential artwork. Oh, just great. It's old school. It's Wolverine being Wolverine, like not talking a lot, and it's Deadpool talking a lot. As you can see from the, you know, Deadpool, I don't know how many lines. It's a bit like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator. You know, he had 84 words or whatever it was, and it's a bit like Wolverine in this. Look at this stuff. It's everything you expect on the tin. And I think I'll just leave it there. It's everything, you know, great. You know, Joe Kelly kind of giving us an easy read. Adam Kubert giving us just spot on comic artwork. And the colorists having the colorists. Let's give the colorist a shout out. Frank Martin. That's not a name I recognise, actually. But no, to be fair to Frank Martin, this is a glorious mix. This is a glorious palette he's found in this issue. Stuff like this. So, yeah, I was up for it. I like all this bracketaka. Yeah, it's full on. But that's how Deadpool should be. But I think there's an overuse of this character over the years that has been very irritating for me, but nevertheless, this was a good comic. Deadpool and Wolverine together, and they obviously complement each other because it's a merc with a mouth and a laconic superhero that doesn't say a lot. And talking of laconic superheroes, see what I did there? Oh, this is like comic review magic. Here's Blade, and he's got to be front and centre, hasn't he? In this one, and like I said, it wasn't 6 issues, it's 5. Sorry. So, like I said in the introduction, if you don't want to get all the crossover event, I know it's early days, only issue 1, because it's glorious artwork as always by Pepe Larraz. I think the main storyline will be enough. You know, this bit here, that panel there was in Moon Knight, Vengeance of Moon Knight, issue 5. Did you need to buy that comic to make that panel make sense? No, not really, because they've got all the characters here. And this is what we spent the whole issue, really, or not a whole issue, but this is what, it was actually. This is what we spent the culmination of the issue is what happens here. So, but what I'm loving the idea of this Bloodhunt idea, and the sun is getting blocked out, and the ensuing carnage, and who is going to save the day? And look, there's a couple of people trying to escape to Latveria. They don't get far past the gate. Love it. Doomstat. So, like I say, what a glorious, and here he is. You know, that's why we're here, for all the dark stuff. But obviously, it's drawing to make it a multi-series, multi-character, multi-comic, multi-book, multi-everything crossover. Just Pepe Larraz has got that really easy style. I'm not saying he finds it easy. He obviously spends hours and hours on his artwork. But I love stuff like this. You know, just I don't know where that comes from, whether that's come from Pepe Larraz or Jed MacKay, just to say, like, bosh, you know, Captain Marvel's feeling it. And just one quick thing I will point out: if Captain Marvel's involved, couldn't she have just moved whatever's blocking the sun? Couldn't she have just moved the sun like she did in the film? Really? And this great bunch of new villains. Really intriguing bunch of new villains. Love it. Absolutely love it. But you know, I've got a soft spot for these. You know, these are just great villains. Look, you cut Thor. What, you cut me? And the way the rollout, the intro, you know, Damascene is this character's name. He cut Thor. But with that Smoke Eater, you know, cruel and unusual. You know, you've got to get the Scarlet Witch. Great. How do these horror characters take down the Avengers? It's great comic book stuff. And again, and there's nothing wrong with that, this was another easy read. I just found it just a nice page turner. So I do recommend that. Try it out. Because I do think, I know it's only early days, I do think you haven't got to buy every issue. A bit like with Night Terrors with DC. I didn't buy every single issue. I bought the main series and the titles that I was already buying. I think that is a very evocative cover. If we're going to now get on the cover of the week, if we only had pocket money for one comic, guys, what would it be? I mean, come on. What, Wolverine and Deadpool? Or the Hulk getting, what are those dolls called? They get the pins put in, the voodoo doll pins. I mean, I've got to show Zorro, Man of the Dead, because for this cover, I just think design wise, I think that's a beautiful piece of art. But is it the most exciting comic cover? Space Ghost is. There's a lot going on there. There's meteors, there's a black sun, and there's Space Ghost grimacing, going, eesh. So, and just quickly, I mean, I know I'm going to cover up, I don't know if that's going to be in the middle, but I just did love that they've done a nice, I don't know if you can see that they've done gloss and a gloss embossed title. This is all gloss, and the horse riders are, but other than that, it's not. and I think it gives it a really nice effect on that cover. Distillery just do a beautifully quality job. They've aimed themselves high doing quality product. I recommend every single Distillery book that's been out so far. Enough said. But that won't be cover of the week, but I thought I had to mention it. If you will permit me to, well, you haven't got a choice because it's my channel. And then this, if you can't see why I thought that I was intrigued by this because it was very Mobius-like. If you can't tell by now, then but it looks really that says weird sci-fi aliens on other worlds in one cover. So that's that. Thoroughly recommend. And it wasn't £1 million, £1 million either. It wasn't like, one of them overpriced Marvel trade paperbacks. Maybe a bit static, Space Ghost. I mean, obviously, you know how much I love that, but yeah, it's not going to really, really attract you. Hulking out. Don't know what's going on with a strange head, so that's probably a bit static as well. It's evocative, but static. But it does everything you need to know for a first issue. Look, all the Avengers are in it. And Doctor Strange. And the new bloke. No, we don't go there. It's out of these two guys. And I know Marvel are owning it this week, but I think they're owning it with that cover. I really do. Because it does say everything it says on the tin. Wolverine's got knives in his legs. Deadpool's got a knife in his shoulder with 2 samurai swords. Wolverine's got his claws out and ready to go. He's angry. So I do think that's the one. That is my cover of the week. And if you followed me this far, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, let me know in the comments. And also let me know in the comments what you've been picking up. Maybe anything you've been disappointed with or you've loved that I haven't chosen. Was there a couple of DC books this week that, I just didn't bother picking up? Please let me know in the comments. You know I love it and I do get back to everyone. So until next week's batch of the top 10 of the week, I will bid you all adios.